G'day all, Hef here from Epic Rides and Tours Sidecar Adventures. Well, today's vid started off as investigating why the front Parker lamp in the headlamp assembly wouldn't light. So there's a little bit of fault finding involved, not very much. What I found was I disconnect the Parker lamp, Parker globe, and then reconnect it, and bingo, it worked. So probably a bit of crud in there. It looks clean, but hey, I ain't complaining. So while I was doing that, since I had to take the lens out of the headlamp assembly, that exposed all the wiring I needed to add a couple of spotties. I've had them laying around for ages, literally years, and I thought, great idea. To be frank, actually, the light available from Dusty's factory headlamp and globe, yeah, it's difficult to describe because there ain't much light. So at some stage I'll probably replace that globe with one of those U-Buttes, or 150 or 175 percent globes that you can get. But anyway, I've added these spotties and they have made a serious difference. So enough of my waffling, let's get moving. Right, next little job I'm going to be doing requires that I remove the front at least of the headlamp, and here's the item I have to undo, that little Allen bolt. I have a set of little sockets with Allen bolts fitted, and serious puzzlement was that the 4.5mm didn't fit, it was too small, and the 5mm didn't fit, it was too big. Luckily I obviously have a 4.75mm Allen key in my toolkit. So that holds everything in place, and here's everything inside the headlamp. And what I'm trying to find is the Parker light, because the Parker light will not fire up. So, technically that makes the bike unroadworthy, so I've got to fix it. It's not immediately obvious how you get the Parker light out. There it is. Pulling that seems to be on some kind of a spring. I think perhaps that contact may make a difference, I'll see. But while I'm here, we might as well look at the headlamp. Two springs, just push them out with your thumb, roll over, and out she comes. Can't put it back in the wrong place because of the tabs. This tab won't fit either of those slots, so you can't really put it in wrong. And then swing your springs and use your thumb to clip them there, like so. Righto, there's the Parker light out. That's the Parker from the headlamp. It sits in this hole here, and this contact, which touches the side just here where my finger's rubbing, to provide the ground. Now you can see a little bit of a lump there that fits in the notch there, and you just push it in, and this contact acts as a locating device, and it won't come out. The light itself looks good. I'll put a meter on it, a multimeter, to see if it is actually blown or if there's some other problem. I've already checked the fuse, and that's in good nick, and that same fuse operates a couple of other things that would have gone wrong if it was dud. So alright, we'll just try a couple of things. So get the multimeter on it. Four and a bit ohms. So that tells me that the lamp itself is okay. So that's interesting. Rightio. One for the is one we prepared a little earlier. List. Okay, this is the lens and mirror part of the headlamp on Dusty. You'll see there's a great big hole there where the main lamp should be, and here's the Parker. Okay, to keep things watertight, dust tight, etc., this actually fits over the top, and we have the wiring loom here. Now I've ascertained that the orange is what fires up the high beam. The black and the yellow, one side is the switch line and the other is earth for the Parker lamp. The brown one, well, no, named everything else, that's got to be the dip side of the main headlamp. Okie dokie. So what I want to do here is to stick a couple of LED spotties, one on either side of the headlamp. They're going to be useful around here. It gets incredibly dark after night. Swampy has got a light bar on the front of the Sidecar. Dusty here has the standard driving lights, they're called, not spotties or spotlights. They do a good job of filling in where a second headlamp might be for a car, but they're not for long distance. They're quite bright, and they do make a really good job of illuminating potholes shortly before we hit one, and of course the side of the road. So I want something on this which will give me as much light or better than I get on Swampy when I fire up the light bar. That can honestly, down at the bottom of my road, there's about a 15 to 20 foot rise from the bottom to the top end, and when I switch that light bar on, it lights up the house right at the top of the road. You can almost see the next postcode from it. Anyway, I'm going to get stuff done. Things to note: these, there's two of them, one on each side. You need to retain those. Okay, they come off really easily when you remove the headlamp nacelle, and yeah, as a result they can go almost anywhere. And you'll notice this bit of decking wood offcut. Well, as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff that's going to be sitting on the front wheel guard, and look, the paint work gets knocked about on these because we go off-road. Yeah, plenty of stone chips and the odd tram line from branches hanging out over the track, that kind of thing. Plus I want to be able to use my multimeter on some of these cables, these wires. Okay, So we've got a relatively, not totally, but relatively stable base for me to do that. And of course we won't have contacts like this screwing up readings by touching down to earth. That was a good blooper. I'll do that again. So I will attach one probe to the yellow and the other to the aforementioned bolt, which is effectively earth, and that's turn off hold. Right, there we go, 0 ohms. So basically that yellow wire is connected directly to the frame of the bike. That means it's what's called earth. Some people might call it ground. Okay, now here we have the black lead, and that appears to be 0. So there's something funny going on. There's a relay somewhere in this. Okay, so I'm not going to call either the yellow or the black a negative, i.e. ground, because they both seem to go to ground via, I'm imagining it will be a relay. When you turn on the ignition, that relay engages and it decides which way the electricity is going to go. So I will create a proper earth for both of the new lamps. It will go straight down to earth and won't be a problem as a result. Now, where are they? Just a minute, I'll go and find what I want to find. This is one of the 2 bolts which hold the headlamp assembly in place. There's no nut to go with it, because when it goes into the side of the nacelle, that is threaded. Now I'm going to be mounting the new spotties where this bolt would normally go on. So here we go. With the spotties is a bracket. Now note that there's a square, a hole, a washer. I don't need to tell you to note that's a round hole. Okay, and this bolt is the reason for the square hole. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's got a square shaped shoulder on it. A nylock nut, and this bolt and nylock nut attach the light assembly to the bracket. Let's go. So for a change, for me it's a change, I've got what I think is relatively well sorted. So got one LED spotlight here, another one with the bracket and other paraphernalia already hung onto it. Two of these which plug in to this. Okay, handling this while you're trying to do some electrical work on it. Don't have the LED hanging off it because it will just cramp your style, you know. So have two of those ready. Here's the other LED lamp that I haven't put the bracket on yet, but it will be. Okay, and as I've already shown you, the bits and bobs that make up the mounting kit for the spotty. Here's our headlamp nacelle. Now, as I've already ascertained, the orange wire on this bike goes to the high beam, and that's when we want our spotties on. Okay, we don't want them coming on when we're on dip beam, because we might well dazzle other drivers or riders, and they might well get justifiably a bit hacked off. So what we have to do here is to break into this wire. Okay, remove the insulation, and we will fit it in one of a pack of, and there's me disorganisation again. I'll put them down somewhere. I'll be back. Okie dokie. Have half a dozen of these, and should be fairly easy to imagine what they do. You slide wire through here and slide wire through there. You can get a third one in the below, and then making sure that the conductor, that's the metal bit of the wire, is going to come in contact with this, and you crunch it down with a pair of pliers, or I'm going to see if this works. Wish me luck. Okay, you try and make things a little bit easier on yourself. If you slide a very small flat blade screwdriver down there, you can actually pull this terminal out. I'm going to have to put it down to do that, so excuse me. And there it is, out. Before you put it back together, there's a little tag just there where my finger went over. That's what holds this in place. So I don't recommend you do this often or more than once, okay, because you can weaken that and then you've got to replace the tab. Not too difficult, but there's not a lot of spare in the wiring loom, so you might find it getting tighter and tighter. Yeah. Yep. So a pair of long nose with a side cutting on it. Right, now we want this and the, where is it? There. Good organisation, folks. So we're going to get two of those together and put them into the other side of this crimp connector. If they're sitting right, we won't have to do it again. Wish me luck. Righto, so I don't know where I've put certain videos that I took of how I cut the holes to put the wiring from the LEDs into the headlamp nacelle. They've gone somewhere. Anyway, this fella is what I used, and I'll show you where I cut the holes. Point to note with these, keep them well lubricated, so while you're drilling, spray them with WD-40 or similar, otherwise these teeth burn out really quick and you've just wasted 25 bucks. Right, yeah, there's a couple of ways you can do this job. As you can see, I've actually cut a hole here with the hole cutter, and I've added some corrugated tubing to protect it against all those things we know that fly around in the air that shouldn't. Now, you could, if you really wanted, feed the cable in through here or even round here, but to me that looks untidy, so I did it this way. yeah, it's not hot, but it's up to you which way you want to go. Okay, now here's the first lamp I'm going to fit, and just point out a little sort of bluish blob there. It's this. Now I had the devil's own job getting people to understand me as to what this is. When I knew about it, or was introduced to it, I was in the army. We used to call it black nasty because no matter how much watered, it was all black. And we used to use it for a number of purposes, and one of them was repairing insulation on cables. The correct name in army is tape self-amalgamating. So I got into Civvy Street, came over to Australia, and of course the same language doesn't seem to exist. I would ask people from any number of hardware stores, and I just got a blank look. And after many years, I started working at the power stations in the Hunter Valley, and one of the other guys, and if he's watching now, Muzz, you're a bloody legend, found this stuff and gave me a reel, because he'd been looking for it apparently, just keeping an eye out, and it was called self-sealing tape, so fair enough, you know. So I went to Bunnings a few years after that, and I was going up and down the aisles looking for self-sealing tape. I couldn't bloody find it anywhere. And the young kids said, that's plumber's tape. Oh, no. Plumber's tape is thin and plasticky, and you wind it round plumbing joints. It's called PTFE tape in another day. But they produce this. I said, that is never plumber's tape, but I'll have it. And I think it was about 6 months later, I was looking for some, and what do you know, they changed the name of it to self-sealing tape. Jeez. And here's the mounting bracket that I was speaking about before, showed you before. It's now fitted. Nice and tight, so this doesn't move. It can be moved from side to side by loosening this, obviously. So I'd suggest a nighttime ride like I did to get everything pointing in the right direction. You'll see this one is slightly off of directly in front, for the obvious reason that it helps me to see the edge of the road at night. Oh, there we go. I seem to have lost a couple of videos and photos. I'll have to check on my phone, because I know that I did a couple of extra videos about how I got these new spotties to sit on the headlamp assembly on Dusty. I checked them out last night and sort of adjusted the way the beams were going, and it makes a big difference. I hope you gained some knowledge from that. The thing about the spotties being low enough current draw to connect to the same feed wire as the headlamp globe, that's very useful. I love LEDs. I'm gonna probably end up doing a full LED kit at some stage. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for looking in, thanks for staying, and see you next time.